and its evolution. Today we are going to discuss about the definitions of political science. And when we look at the definitions of political science, we find that many scholars have given or have tried to define political science. There are various definitions of political science, or we can say there are numerous definitions of political science. In order to simplify this whole thing, that is to find out the definition of political science that we can remember, or that is defining the subject in a proper way, all the definitions, they have been grouped under two heads. That is the state-centric definitions and the state-independent definitions. That is, all the definitions that we get about political science, they have been put under two groups. One, that is state-centric definitions of political science. The second group is the state-independent definitions of political science. First, we will take up the state-centric definitions of political science. Now, the word state-centric, from here we get the meaning that the definitions is centering around the state. That is, in some way or the other, that they have tried, the political philosophers, scholars, they have tried to define the state. They have tried to define political science from the point of view of the state. So, these definitions are called the state-centric definitions. That is, in one way or the other, we get the concept of, or we get the term state in this definitions. Now, let us first go into the various definitions that we get under this particular heading called state-centric definitions. Now, when we are talking about state-centric definitions, we find that Aristotle, father of political science, he also has studied, or he has also tried to define politics from the point of view of the state. But along with the state, he has also studied, or he has also dealt with, or he has also talked about other aspects of our life, like that of the structure of the family, the control of the slaves, theory of the doctrine of revolution, democracy. So state was there when he was studying politics. State was there, but along with state, there were other aspects of a man's life was also discussed. So that was Aristotle, who had tried to define politics or political science as we call it now. And then there is Lasky, who is giving his definition of political science in the book called Grammar of Politics. Here we find that he is saying the state in theory and practice, etc., two things, that political science concerns itself with the life of men in relation to organized states. So this is the definition given by Lasky, where he is talking about the life of men in relation to states. That is, he is also defining political science from the point of view of state. Then we have Gettel, according to whom that it is political science, or this particular subject, it deals about mainly about that what is the state, or rather what was the state, what is the state in its present condition, and what should be a state, or what it is going to be. So that is all that we study in political science. So according to Gettel also, state-centric definition or political science is studying about the state, or the main the main focus is on the state. Then we have Garner, who is very specific, who is in one sentence is defining political science. He is saying political science begins and ends with the state. So Garner is in a very simplified manner, he had said what is political science, or what is it? It is dealing with state only, because it begins with state and it ends with state. So these are the mainly definitions of political science, that is the state-centric definitions of political science. That is those group of scholars who have tried to define political science on the centering around the state. That is, they have all said state is the most important aspect, of the state is the most important thing that we study in political science. Then there is another group of scholars who believe that no, it is not true. We don't study state only. We study various other things. And so, they have tried to define political science independent of the state. That is, they are not using the term state in their definitions. Now, who are these scholars? These scholars are David Easton, Robert Dull, Lasswell, Charles Marion, Miller. These are the scholars, Alan Ball. They have all given the state independent definitions of political science. Now, how they are defining? According to them, that it is political science is the study of authoritative allocation of values, or we can say that it is studying about various other things that is around, that is influencing the life of the people, that is much more important than the state. And so it is the shaping and sharing of power. According to them, it is the study, the discipline is studying about power, how it is shaping the life of the people, how it is influencing the life of the people. So the scholars, these scholars like Robert Dull, Alan Ball, Lasswell, they have given the state independent definitions of political science. So we have two groups of definitions of political science, but the question is, what is then the definition? Which is the acceptable definition of political science? Because if we follow any one of the definitions from each of the groups, then we find that it is incomplete. It is not defining the subject properly. If we say that political science is all about state, then also it is not true. If we say that political science is all about everything else other than the state, then also it is not sufficient. Then what is the definition? So we get a definition. Now we have combined the two definitions, and then we get a definition that is acceptable, that is actually trying to define the state. And what is this definition? It is saying that political science as a branch of social science, like many other sciences, it is also a social science, and it is studying about many things, like it is studying about the political ideas, thoughts, international relations, the working of the government, how the state should be, everything. It is learning everything that we find within the political system or within state, that is influences, power, conflicts, government, everything is studied in political science, and that is the subject. So what we have done, we have combined the two definitions, and we have got a definition of political science that is defining it as a branch of social science where we are studying along with the state various aspects of the human life. So today we have done about the definitions of political science. In our next video, we will take up another topic in this chapter, and we will continue